KP.
KPC.
News. Information. Culture. KPCC.
California sensibility.
Greetings, loved ones. Let's take a journey.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Lehrer.
And I'm Amy Choi, and we are the Mashup Americans.
Where the grass is really greener.
So we're lady bosses over here.
Yeah, we are.
And we love and are inspired by other lady bosses. And it's summertime, so we're also inspired by ice cream.
One of my favorite ice creams to eat is Coolhaus. But I think I'm pretty biased because Natasha Case, who is a co-founder of Coolhaus, I've known her since she was 7. And when she and Freya Estreller, her co-founder and wife,
It's really intense.
when they launched their first ice cream truck, I mean, let's just say I've been cutting the lines for many years.
It really makes me think about how much, like, kind of the entrepreneurial spirit is just part of our story and, like, our American story.
There's also this kind of storyline in the world right now about how millennials, they don't want to work hard. They're like, they all want to be their own bosses. But actually, it's pretty awesome that they want to be entrepreneurs. And it's a really American way to be. It's not a new way to be.
Go America.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to Freya and Natasha about how being Filipina, Chinese, Ukrainian, Jewish, lesbian mashup couple, shape their decisions. Everything from starting businesses to starting a family.
Like, whose sperm do you choose?
That's a pretty big choice and decision.
It's one of the biggest, I think.
Well, I'm very excited to talk about this. On to the show.
California girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top. Sun-kissed skin so hot, will melt your popsicle.
Freya, can you introduce yourself and tell us how you mash up?
Yeah, my name is Freya Estreller, and I'm the co-founder of Coolhaus Ice Cream Sandwiches and founder of Ludlows Cocktail Company. Well, I guess I am a mashup. I'm Filipino, Chinese, Portuguese, and Spanish. I'm married to a Jewish, Russian lesbian who's sitting right next to me, Natasha Case. And actually, Coolhaus, I say, is our baby. When we actually started dating the same time we started the business. So we birthed Coolhaus together.
I'm Natasha Case. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Coolhaus Ice Cream as well. And since Freya already, gave my mashing up somewhat, although there's some nuances in there: Ukrainian, Polish, Lithuanian, Jew.
What did or do you each call your grandmas?
Amma.
Is Amma Chinese?
I think it's more Chinese than Filipino, but yeah, it just means grandma and grandpa's angkong. Also kind of phonetically, it's amma. That sounds like grandma.
Yeah, it does. I think that is grandma in many, many languages. It's just like Oma, right? Yeah. What about you?
Straight up grandma on both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom's mom, she passed, but she was Granny B, for a little bit there. But
Granny B.
She didn't know that, though. I don't
Granny
think that
B,
was not for her ears.
Who thought once that because her eyesight started fading towards the end, thought that I was her boyfriend because I had long hair and this, I think, fur vest on. And I guess I looked
a flannel shirt, skinny jeans.
A Chinese
this so
hipster
far doesn't sound,
from the 70s. I was like,
She had a flashback and she leaned into me and she goes, "So, where'd you meet him?" So she got, the vibe, though. That was good.
Yeah.
She knew there was romance going on.
Did you correct her?
I think I kind of blacked out. I have no memory really processing that. But, I think I maybe tried to explain it. It's just, the fashion was really dictating that moment for her. So
better that than to have to explain that you married a woman.
It was, there'd be a lot of backtracking. And then I may have to restart the next time I saw her anyway. So,
so you're like, let's just leave that to the next time. Sometimes that's nice. You get to start fresh each time.
Totally.
It's a really good way to practice the way you tell your story.
Exactly right. Exactly. Public speaking.
Yeah. Public speaking with Granny B.
New every time.
Okay, guys, I want to ask you a little bit about building business. So 40% of Fortune 500 companies were founded by immigrants or children of immigrants. And we fully expect you guys to be on the Fortune 500, pretty soon. What role do you think that experience in your families had in you becoming entrepreneurs?
I mean, my dad started his own businesses. He's had a couple businesses, actually. Varied. They're varied. He used to recruit nurses from other countries and place them here in the United States. He at one point started selling
The miracle fruit.
miracle fruit.
Remember that?
He had a Christian bookstore that's actually still in Atwater Village, that one on Glendale Boulevard.
I do know it.
Yep.
If you ever can't find me, that's where I am.
But I definitely think like that, his entrepreneurial spirit highly, affected and motivated me and like, presented an example of like, oh, like I can go do my own thing and have that lifestyle of flexibility when instead of the usual 9 to 5 sort of job. And then my mom, who now works at the mayor's office, she was a working, professional single mom. I mean, my parents are divorced, and so I think I had 2 really great examples there.
Yeah, and definitely. I mean, a big part of Jewish culture is entrepreneurship, definitely strong, I think, in terms of business and business savvy. I think Israel is the highest concentration of entrepreneurs in the world, actually. And my family came over on my mom's side. Actually, they were the ones who did Fabergé, the perfume named after the eggs, so kind of bringing in like an old world legacy that people would know and see as this sort of sophisticated air about it, and turn that into a brand. And then on my dad's side, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. Still definitely we talk a lot about business and has the entrepreneurial spirit very much alive. We call each other Moog. Mogul. He's Moog 1. I'm like Moog 1.5. I'm working my way up. But having that from both sides is something that that I was aware of growing up and was definitely interested in always.
So your families have been supportive of this?
Now they are.
Yeah.
They weren't initially. I mean, the idea of an architecturally inspired ice cream sandwich truck.
Right.
Well, I think, and to that point, I'd kind of always been a good Jewish girl, like had, gone through school, done well, and was kind of on a path with my architecture degree. And so I studied at Berkeley, and then I had gone my master's from UCLA in architecture. So that was 7 solid years of like preparing to do this thing, then working at Disney Imagineering, like, okay, it's, on the track. Then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you bought an ice cream truck and this is going to be a thing that you're doing. And I remember my parents literally kind of had an intervention with me over it, which I totally, if I were a parent too, I would want to bring caution into the discussion. Like that's a good parent, would do that. And I told them, I remember in the first real conversation about it, like, we're going to be laughing about this in a couple years.
I think about that a lot because I went to business school, but actually most MBAs are not entrepreneurs.
No.
Because it's actually a very risk-averse kind of degree, right? Because you're like, well, I know what the return on investment is on this, right? I know that I can have X salary in this job in sort of some kind of management position in a bigger company.
It's true, because really entrepreneurship, you got to be a little cray-cray for it, because there is no defining pattern at all. Like the whole point is that you're saying something's not out there. Why? There's a big chance that's not out there because it doesn't work.
Right.
You have all the odds stacked against you totally. And that's why when you succeed, there's so much there for you though. So that's kind of, the upshot of it.
Right. And so, and right now I think we have this sort of image of millennial founders, right? As these white tech bros or programmers or this kind of, right, I'm building an app,
like
whatever. And yet here we are, all women and inclusive of Amy, first or second generation American, Latina, Asian, and you guys are married and we've all co-founded companies. So do we buck the trend or are we the trend? What do you guys think?
I definitely think there is a shift in a more diversity in a lot of business spaces. I think just in general, with our generation, women are more empowered to go after what they want and do what they want and be leaders. And I think it's definitely getting better and better with each, successive generation.
We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
Guys, Coolhaus is the best! If you want more awesome mashup food stories and recipes for ice cream and many other delicious things, check out mashupamericans.com/food. We got you. Back to the show.
Shining bright like a diamond. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Palms rise to the universe as we moonshine and Malay. Feel the warmth, we'll never die.
So did you ever imagine that ice cream would land you at the White House? And can you tell us about how it happened that you came to serve ice cream at the White House 4th of July picnic.
It's like in business, I think I had an instinct. I remember being on vacation one summer and thinking, like, I have to get the ice cream to the Obamas. Like, this is, I had an abstract idea of it in my head. And I think you kind of have to will things a little bit into existence. I was on like a 45-minute jog, so all the endorphins, just seeing that vision, and you have to visualize it. But in terms of the kind of specifics of how it happened, I think it had to do with like seeing, politicians and ice cream. It's such a thing. Like the Tumblr, Joe Biden eats ice cream. It's a great one. Just him stuffing his face with ice cream is awesome. And at the time, we had a publicist that I reached out to. He'd been doing a lot of work with us on the cookbook, and I said, and I was always like kind of like tough on him. I was like, yeah, Alexander, get us into the White House. Like, what are you doing? Just sitting around? Hello, make it happen and get back to me when you do. No, but we sort of brainstorm on the way, and he. I think was friendly with Michelle Obama's hairstylist. Yeah, so he's like, I know a way. Let me talk to this guy. He put us in touch with the events department. We sort of talked about a lot of different things we could do, and an Easter egg hunt ended up being 4th of July, which I think was like the ultimate great. But it was tricky until literally like a day or two before. We did not know if it was going to work out. All the background checks, getting the product down there. So yeah, it ended up being phenomenal. But I don't know if Freya
Except that Joe Biden at the end finally wanted his ice cream sandwich. And I guess I was in a yellow jumpsuit, and he just beelined towards me and asked for a Dove bar. Dove, ice cream. I think
they were the normal sponsor.
Yeah, they had sponsored it previous years, and we had just run out of our ice cream sandwiches. So I had to give him a Dove bar.
No.
But Bo the dog, I think, got some Coolhaus ice cream sandwich. That's
Bo
cool.
and you know how we all feel about dogs. And Bo the
Bo
dog,
was cool.
how are we going to follow him after they leave the White House?
Big shoes to fill.
Okay, so how do you guys come up with flavor ideas? Like, are you inspired by the mashup? I know you have some Jewish flavors or Jewish deli flavors, and you've used fun spices in the things that you do.
There's really two ways that we come up with new flavors. One is sort of looking at kind of current trends or what's kind of buzzy in the food space, and instead of reacting to it, thinking, where is this going? For example, the Jewish deli line came from kind of our generation, I think, re-embracing the Jewish deli. Here, Wexler's. It's definitely still like there's a lot of like classical components of it, but then putting a little twist on things.
Like serving a lot of bacon.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Aren't you doing Korean ice cream for Chef Chris O
at
Hanjip?
Yes, we did pineapple-based ice cream with candied spam. Really good. And then there's these choco cream cookies that are like kind of a Korean Oreo that they're just really good. They're kind of these whoopie pie marshmallowy cookies.
What?
And we blended those in the ice cream with marshmallows. Awesome. And then
That's the one I want.
Oh yeah, and then we did a red bean and fries. So it was like the Korean fast food.
Wow.
Yeah.
It feels like it's so exciting because there's all these cuisines that are, were once exotic or weird, but that are actually kind of embraced by the mainstream and also are ours, right? So that feels so resonant,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Have you done any Filipino ones?
I was just going to say, we need
Where's
like
our pancit?
Where's our halo ice cream? That's so easy.
That's a big project. I got to go to the Philippines and because we're getting distribution out there, so we can.
Or we can do a dinaguan ice cream.
What's dinaguan?
It's pork blood. It's black.
Oh, you know who would love that? Anthony Bourdain.
It's
that
Bo
guy
the dog.
Loves
Bo the dog. Because there's so much, I think, vinegar in it. It becomes very sweet, the dinaguan. So I can see it kind of working. We could maybe use
iron rich, definitely.
For all those, CrossFit people.
Yeah.
Out there.
After CrossFit, you have your pork blood ice cream sandwiches.
People just also, it's so funny. You can do the weirdest flavors, and that's part of what people get drawn to the brand based on that. But at the end of the day, 20% of all our sales is chocolate chip cookies with Tahitian vanilla bean ice cream.
Right.
So it's like the classics are such winners too. Sorry, it's so on Mashup.
No. I mean, I think that's part of what it is too. I think a lot of people say, you're like, what's your comfort food? And they're just like, grilled cheese.
Totally.
And you can be like, born in, Guinea or what, it doesn't matter. It's like those things just sometimes they feel, and for whatever part of your life that sort of satisfies or part of your body that it really just it scratches the itch. What is your comfort food?
Burritos, which I just realized I'm trying this new, blood type diet. I have type B blood and I can't have or I can't really process apparently corn, wheat, chicken, or tomatoes. And I was like, but that's a burrito.
Yeah, you're like, that's
Like,
all the
I've
most
been
delicious things.
Eating that like once or twice a week for my entire life.
You're like, I found it. That's where my inflammation comes from.
Yeah.
What is your Starbucks name?
Fran.
Fran.
I think 50% of the time when I introduce myself, they think I'm saying Fran.
And what is the root of the name Freya?
It's actually the Norwegian goddess of love and fertility. She's Thor's girlfriend, and from which Friday is derived from. So that's actually my drunk name. My drunken persona is Friday.
What? My girl Friday.
Yes. And it's just weird because I think most people think when you say Natasha and Freya, they think that Natasha is Freya because you're just expecting a blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
And Freya is a top 5 trending baby name right now. We found
So
out.
weird.
Yeah. What do you think that's about?
You?
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, people,
Coolhaus.
yeah, ice cream.
But I
Hello.
think there's a show, the Viking show.
Oh.
There's a character, Freya, on there.
And how does it make you feel that there's all these sort of upper middle class blonde babies, right? Being called Freya?
Yeah, I don't feel that great about it because I like to think that I'm like one of the very few Freyas.
Yeah. What about Natasha?
You know, Natalie is the one that they, for some reason, it doesn't seem that similar, but actually it is the origin name of Natasha. Natasha is Natalia.
Right.
Which means born on Christmas, not very Jewish. My parents didn't even know that. An Uber driver like a year ago was like, what's your name mean? And 32 years on this earth, I never Googled it.
Wait, that makes sense.
I never figured it
Natal.
out.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Natale, yeah.
What?
Uber driver. I remember he was Akbar, which I think he said meant the greatest. And he actually then let out like a toot after that. I kid you not. So
Was it a great toot?
it was, yes, it was.
Speaking of toots, I just have to say, this is kind of mashup-y. So we love to play golf. We've been playing golf every weekend.
This already, you guys. I just can't. To my Leslie Mashup entrepreneur friends who play golf every weekend.
Can be very good.
Yeah, it's so good.
So we played the executive 9-hole course in Los Feliz.
I don't know what executive means, but is it so you can do it at lunch or something?
Yeah, it's because it's only 9 holes. It's only
Okay.
2 hours of your time.
We think that's what it means.
But we played
Let's not look
don't
it
know.
up.
last weekend by ourselves. And usually they take out foursomes, right? They want 4 people to go at a time. And we were paired with these 2, much older Korean guys who were really cool. One of them didn't really speak English. The other one owned a liquor store. And I promptly started pitching them on Ludlows, and she did on Coolhaus.
They said
But
they had a freezer, yes.
at the last hole, the older Korean man who didn't really speak English started doing these vertical push-ups on a tree and just let out this deep string of farts.
It was amazing. I was facing the other way, and I was thinking, that cannot be what's happening right now. There's no way.
But culturally, I was like, is that normal? Is he just expecting us to pretend that didn't happen because we just started laughing?
Or to come and do it too?
And literally,
It was the 9th hole. It
crying.
was the 9th hole, That could be just
Did
a
it? Was there
ritual.
any acknowledgement?
No, none. It was just the most bizarre thing, but I'm crying right now, thinking about it.
If she had been videotaping me sitting on the bench with that in the background, by coincidence that happened, it would have 100 million views. It was such a good moment.
That's a good reason to always have a GoPro on.
If you guys love the stories we share, sign up for our newsletter at mashupamericans.com/newsletter. Every Saturday morning, you'll get a roundup of mashup news from around the world delivered right to you. It'll make you think, laugh, have your thoughts provoked. Could there be a better way to wake up on the weekend? We think not. So do it. mashupamericans.com/newsletter.
So you guys work together. Just being married is a mashup because you're 2 separate human beings. But you also work together and you have all these cultural mixes. Did you face any issues when you were getting married that were kind of culturally based?
Culturally, on my dad's side of the family, since they're uber Catholic, my dad was I think when my parents divorced, became a born-again Catholic and took me to those prayer meetings where they put your head, your hands on your head and make you faint and stuff. Very
Did you faint?
crazy. I did, just to
Be a part of it.
Yeah.
Soul cycle. Oh, no, that's different.
But do it. But yeah, my dad's side of the family didn't understand. One, being a lesbian, 2, marrying a woman, 3, a Jewish woman. So that was very difficult for that side of the family. My mom's side, we have an aunt who's gay that I didn't even realize was gay until I was 18.
Yeah.
I just thought that was her best friend, her BFF, and they slept in the same bed together because you know what? We were immigrants.
Yeah.
And we were trying to save money.
So somebody was telling you that story a little bit. Like that's the story you were being...
I don't think anyone told me that story. I just made that up.
Yeah.
But like no one had ever said the word gay or lesbian.
Yeah.
In regards to them.
Was
Yeah.
anyone surprised when you did come out to them?
I actually hid it from my mom for the first 3 years. And at that point, we were already engaged. And Natasha was like, okay, we can't let this go on any further. Like, you're going to call your mom right now and you're going to tell her. So I called her and I was kind of nervous. And I was like, I need to tell you something. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I'm dating Natasha. And she's like, yeah, I know that.
She's like, way to waste my data plan with this call. You know?
And I was like, well, I'm sorry. I was just nervous because I'd never dated a woman before. And you'd always seen me dating men. And she's like, Freya, mother's instincts.
Yeah, she said, I love Natasha like my own daughter. Why do you think you get the same Christmas gift every year? Which was like $40 cash and a key to the house that had like a Finding Nemo pattern on it, remember? Meanwhile, we're sobbing because we're so relieved and happy. And she's like, gotta go, you know?
Yeah. What? That's such a... and it sounds like it was a different experience with your dad.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into it, but... Yeah.
Different.
Totally.
Well,
He did get me a gift certificate to Lowe's, though, for Christmas this year, your dad. I think that was a big step. So credit to that.
She's like, at least she'll be the more, butch one.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
It was like, because
exactly.
he was getting clothes clearly for all her sisters' boyfriend and husband. Then it came to me, I was like, what, is this going to be like a tie for me or a skirt? And went with the gift certificate.
I think that was strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, thankfully, also,
You do you, Natasha.
my sisters are breaking in my dad, too, because one of them, Shannon, is living in sin with her boyfriend. I mean, now they're engaged, but my dad for a long time was not okay with that. And my other sister, Carissa, just married her Iranian boyfriend. And so there was actually this...
Do you think there are anywhere else in the world where there is an Iranian-Filipino couples than Los Angeles?
Yeah, actually, because Ben, siblings or cousins are married to Filipinos in Canada, I think. It's just like a common thing in their family.
Well, then we can talk about some
It's like-
fetishizing.
It's
that
like
we'll
Chinese
talk about later.
and Jews, right?
Yeah. There feels like it doesn't take long to become comfortable.
Right.
It's just that initial kind of friction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it was like, I had gone so far outside the box with Freya than what was expected. There was no, when I told them, we were engaged, we're getting married, there was no like, oh, but could have brought home a Jew. No.
Yeah.
That was like,
They were like...
I gave them so much other exciting stuff
Yeah.
to process that, there was really no, I think, questions asked after that
I
point.
think your mom fainted, though, when she saw your engagement ring.
Yes. Yes. She did faint in the sand. That's true. I think that was good.
Yeah, she was excited.
Yeah.
One other question I have for you. I know you guys are thinking about having a family. And when you think about, especially as a gay couple, you have to make a decision about what the sperm, who that sperm come from, what's their mashup.
The baby daddy?
Yeah, and I mean, if you're comfortable, not even talking about what specific decisions you're making, but even just thinking about like, how do you kind of filter your own prejudice or the things that you want in terms of reflecting your identities when you think about mashing them up with whichever of you or at which point either of you is going to house that baby and then give birth to it.
H-A-U-S.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we definitely did not want to produce a super white baby.
Yeah.
Because we want to use...
We didn't? I thought we talked about this.
we want to use
You want to do an
same-
experiment where there's one really white one and one not white one and see who succeeds.
Yeah. But we want to use the same donor. So that, this person, when we imagined him, we were like, okay, he has to look like a mix of the both of us. And so someone tan of mixed heritage. So we decided on this half Native American, quarter English, quarter Irish, 19-year-old surfer who's in community college.
Yeah.
I was like, sounds good. He wants to be an EMT.
Yeah.
Like,
sounds like a babe.
Yeah.
6'2", 185.
Gorgeous. It's
I'm like,
interesting.
now everyone starts putting in the stats into like cryobank to see if they can find him.
Don't steal our vials.
Not telling you the donor number.
No.
Obviously, you have your, there's your DNA makeup, and of course, like your kind of ethnic, who you are. But so much is nurture. You realize too, it's so hard to tell. I think when you're looking at these profiles, reading essays, like is someone genetically a bad speller? Probably not. I don't. Maybe.
No.
But it's cool because to your point, it really makes you think about like what are the things that matter? What are the things about my identity that stand out most? That if you're another half of this child is gonna come from someone else. Okay, maybe you want to take the best chances of getting those. But it's actually a really cool exercise in just thinking on that level too.
And also, I'd imagine even your own prejudice.
Yeah.
Right, where you're like, I don't know if that's what I want. Whatever that is. Like, that's too far afield. I mean, it sounds to me like you guys want somebody, you want to have a child that with either of you walking around alone with that child, it's clear that child looks like you.
Yeah.
If that's possible.
Yeah. Tan, mixed race.
Yeah.
Tall.
Yeah.
Cute.
Totally.
Like, just to boil it down to those basics.
Yeah.
Like, intelligence, yeah, great. But what we actually liked about this 19-year-old versus some other guys we were choosing from that were a little older and more seasoned in their careers, I was like, this guy seems like he has more potential than one of them that, ended up working at like a car dealership.
Right.
Like, I'm like, you had everything given to you and that's
The choice you made.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with what I don't know. Yeah.
Right. That's really interesting.
Yeah. It's more of a bet on nurture, definitely.
I mean, it's all such a crapshoot.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
And you can make these choices, and then the kid may have nothing to do with them anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't know.
And actually,
There's no
the
guarantees,
first guy
obviously.
that we chose who ran out of inventory, unfortunately, was totally different. He's 6'4", German, Irish, Scottish, a little Native American, biotech consultant, marathon running sculptor with 2 PhDs, whose dad was a bank executive and mom was an opera singer.
Yeah.
He was the sculptor too. I think he missed
With
that.
brown,
Yeah, no, I
wavy
think she said
hair
it, yeah.
and green eyes. Like, totally different. And we were prepared for that. We're like, you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, that's a lot to live up to. If they don't become all of those things or a kid, it's like, what a disappointment. So
Well, they already have not two parents who are not the same as theirs. So this child one day, or these children, will be very lucky. Okay, well, thank you guys for coming.
Yeah,
This
thank
is
you.
fun.
for
So now
having
we're going
us.
to do some ice cream taste testing.
Awesome.
when was that?
It's ice cream o'clock, I think.
Sweet, sweet Mississippi. When I close my eyes,
It sounds like I should date Freya Natasha's surfer, EMT, half Native American, 19-year-old sperm donor? Or is that pervy?
Yes. The answer is yes. This guy does sound really cute, and I don't care if he's half your age.
The half my age is the least of my problem.
Exactly. So, but seriously, I mean, families get made in all sorts of ways, and it's just so amazing that this lesbian, Filipina, Chinese, Spanish, Jewish, Ukrainian American mashup couple has all of these options.
This life, guys, it's
really,
pretty amazing.
It's so dope. Being a mashup American is dope, you guys. So, with that, the Mashup Americans are me, Rebecca Lehrer.
And me, Amy Choi. Our producer today was Jocelyn Gonzalez, and our show is produced by American Public Media and Southern California Public Radio, KPCC.
We're also supported in part by an award from the National Endowment for the Arts on the web at arts.gov. Bye.
Bye.